So we're going up to Edinburgh on the train. We both got haircuts from the old guy in the basement in Chinatown. And he looks like a real gent in his waistcoat and tie, his hair going grey at the sides. And he said that I needed to dress classy for Edinburgh. I shoplifted a proper shirt with a collar and some smart trousers. Had to buy some proper shoes. Couldn't bring myself to wearing a tie, that would be too much. I'm a bit disappointed with this train. Edinburgh's a whole other country. I thought we'd be on one of those big ones, half a mile long. And we're on this little 3-carriage affair. Same as going to Blackpool for the day. And he told me to relax and not go trying anything. Even if I saw a handbag sitting wide open or a phone on a table, he said that there was nowhere to run and hide on this train. We'd be stuck here for about 4 hours with only a handful of stops. And he said, reading a newspaper, a posh one with no topless birds in it. He really blended in. Eddie says he's not proud about going inside. He went down for a check fraud scam, got into stuff he didn't understand. Should have stuck to the basics: burglary, robbery, fencing gear. Eddie's proud that he's never been done for violence. He's never slapped anyone who didn't deserve it, never ever hit a woman. I told him about the times I saw Johnny Mullen beating up my man. Eddie said he always knew that he was a wrong-un, and if I stick with him, he'd look after me. He knows all the guys who do the human statues in Market Street. Sometimes on a busy Saturday, he'll tip one of them the wink, and they'll go into the routine and pull a crowd. When the punters are too busy watching the show, we go round the outside of the crowd and dip a few pockets, not too greedy. And he says, don't bite the hand that feeds. Just 5 minutes tops, half a dozen pockets and then away, into the toilets in the Orndale Centre, to empty out the cash. And he sends me to the pub by the bus station to sell the bank cards on, looking out for the felon who sits by the back door. This one time, I took a bag of ease instead of cash for the cards, and a date lined up with a pretty lass I wanted to show her a good time. Well, Eddie hit the roof. He dragged me back to the pub and found the bloke. Eddie made him buy his own pills back, and well above the going rate. He gave me the money and told me to treat her like a real lady. She showed her appreciation afterwards, but I hear she's pregnant by some skunk growing lowlife now. We're not going to Edinburgh for any kind of holiday. Eddie says we're going to work and work hard, fast, and get back on the train. There's some sort of festival on. The streets are full of tourists, ones bulging with cash, just hanging around watching the street performers. Buskers always in need of a bit of extra cash, and most of them know the score. Eddie told me the plan, just like the human statue scam. He'll drop 20 quid into their hat, and they'll do their stuff. When they get a mob around them, I'll go in and work the crowd, keep pulling wallets and purses till things get too hot. And he'll give me the signal to scarp her, and then watch my back so that I can get away clean. Eddie told me where to meet up, somewhere real posh where they won't expect a street kid like Jakey Mullen to run. In the National Gallery, there's a statue of 3 naked birds, where I've got to go and wait for Eddie, just act real cool, and look at the naked women made of stone. Eddie told me they were worth about 10 million quid, so to keep my hands off. I've forgotten what they're called. Eddie! He looks up from his paper, and I feel stupid for disturbing him, so I ask him something else. Are we in Scotland yet? Yes, just over the border. Eddie, what's the statue called? The 3 Graces. Eddie! What? I'm pushing the luck now. You're a genius, you are.